Shares of General Electric are on track to suffer their worst day since the financial crisis after an independent investigator actually accused GE of masking nearly $40 billion in losses. GE shares are down in the double digits off a new report by the whistleblower behind Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. You see that General Electric shares are down 10% or so. Harry Markopolos says GE has committed fraud, in his words, bigger than Enron and WorldCom combined. GE is pushing back, calling the claim meritless. Paula Monica joins us live now. So what is GE being accused of hiding?
Yeah, GE is being accused by Markopolos of hiding some losses in the insurance unit, which is massive for the company, as well as the energy subsidiary that it has with Baker Hughes, BHGE. So add it all up, and it's nearly $40 billion, which, as Markopolos points out, would dwarf the accounting scandals that we had at Enron and WorldCom. And I think that's why a lot of investors are running scared from GE today. But GE, as you pointed out, they have said that there is nothing at all to these accusations and these claims. And, clearly the market disagrees right now. But, GE prior to today had a nice run up this year along with the broader market because the new CEO, Larry Culp, has come in. He's cleaned house. That's an important thing to note. This is not a legacy GE insider calling the shots the way you did with Welch, obviously, and then Immelt following him, and then Flannery after that.
So I actually want to read a statement. You mentioned that GE says that these allegations are not true. In the statement, these are their exact words. The claims made by Mr. Markopolos are meritless. The company has never met, spoken to, or had contact with Mr. Markopolos, and we are extremely disappointed that an individual with no direct knowledge of GE would choose to make such a serious and unsubstantiated claims. GE operates at the highest level of integrity and stands behind its financial reporting. So I should ask you, what is Mr. Markopolos' claims? What are they based on in terms of evidence? Yeah,
he has a more than 150-page report going through a lot of these financials in intricate detail. So according to this report, he thinks that he's got the quote-unquote smoking gun, if you will, about some of the accounting shenanigans, for lack of a better word, that GE may have been taking part in, although the company denies all of it. What's also interesting to note here is we're not really sure yet whether or not the SEC or any other regulators will get involved, because GE was quick to point out that Markopolos is maybe doing this research on the behalf of short sellers that are trying to push GE shares down. So if that's the case, it might become a classic he said, she said sort of scenario where we just don't know whether or not there's really anything there. And again, I think it's important to note that Culp is the new guy. He might be tackling a lot of these issues already. And, could be a moot point.
But, overall, either way, this is the last thing. You see their share price is down 10%. This is the last thing they need. When you think about what's happened to their share price over the past 2 years, the leadership changes, I mean, this is the last thing they need on that.
It is the last thing they needed, because when Culp came in, a lot of people on Wall Street, it was, the proverbial breathing a sigh of relief, because it was finally you have someone that's not part of this entrenched GE corporate culture calling the shots. So you have someone who's not going to be afraid to sell off assets, to make moves that might be unpopular within the GE ranks, because Culp, at the end of the day, has to restore this company to glory. The only way he's going to do it is to really shrink it down. GE got very bloated. We all know that there's a discount for these multi-conglomerates right now. The market doesn't like these companies that are just unwieldy and have businesses all across the board.